What we're working on is the sponsorship and the client kind of relationship models inside of Clipflow so that creators can work with brands and keep everything organized. Basically, we're talking about brand guidelines, invoicing, project QC and approvals, so that when you finished with something, you can get it all ticked off and signed off by the company that you're working with, analytics, and then obviously, or something that could be brought in later is the marketplace, like how to find actual brands. So let's dive into what we're thinking here. Daryl, do you want to just run them through it?
Yeah, so what we've got here is we're keeping the same model for organization. We're just creating another type of organization for a sponsor. They're going to be joined together as a client. So when the sponsor wants to work with the creator or the creator wants to work with the sponsor, we create this client. We're going to have a new view for the organization sponsors, because they're not going to want to see things the same way Clipflow is. And under that, we're going to have the creators that they work with. Any projects where they've been assigned as I'm a sponsor of this project, I want to be able to see the video that's going out or the ad read that's been made for it, comment on it back and forth. Then the invoices and accounting is they can either invoice separately to this, but they just know what they need to invoice for, and they can track all of the spending across all the creators in one place. Analytics that we have to figure out is all of the analytics from the videos from all of these different creators can come into one place. So if this would probably go under a campaign, I'm guessing, Ken, where you could sort of filter it by campaign. If you were running a campaign and you spread it across lots of creators, you could then see the analytics for that. But it's basically all
so
of the things
overarching.
YouTube. Yeah, if you had a category one, if you were running a specific campaign, you could see that. Otherwise, you just get good analytics. You say these videos got this many views. Brand guidelines, which would feed into anything that people are promoting into. Anyone's making a video, they get the assets, they get SVGs, they get the things that you should and shouldn't talk about. There would need to be some sort of notes there. I think from the creator side, they'll have notes on the sponsor to say do this if you're working with this sponsor, and the sponsor will probably have notes about the creator as well of things that you should look for when they're making videos, because they always forget to do this. And then on the creator. Sorry.
And then also you'd probably want shared notes that are cross. So it's the client can actually say,
yep.
And I guess that's part of your brand guidelines, which just says always do this, this, and this. Yeah.
Yep. And you that might be, that would be specific to it being a client relationship. So you could have a pair of notes that both people can contribute to, but then you probably also want notes for your editor or notes for your thing that are a bit more private. And then going into the creative views, this is going to be more focused around the inside the project, attaching a client to a project, whether that's an ad or a full video made for them. We have the project sponsor with the type of sponsorship that they're doing and the rates and fees for that. So the sponsor can go and buy an ad slot in a creator's video, see the video that it's in. Then on the creator side, they can attach it. If the sponsor doesn't attach it, they can attach sponsors. We'll probably need a list of sponsors that they've worked with as well, which I guess that sort of goes into the CRM, right? The CRM side of things. These are all the sponsors that you work with. These are all the sponsors that you're talking to. From the creator side, sending things for feedback and getting QC, being able to take the middleman out of that as well. So the editor finishes a video, they can choose to just send it straight to the brand to get approval. It doesn't have to go into the actual creator's brain space. And then tracking links. If the brand wants to, we provide tracking links so that everything that's clicked under that video has something to pull it back to, so you can see performance, so that the creator can also be informed on how much am I sending to this person, in case there's any sort of revenue split of links that come through or affiliate income or anything. One place to track it all and see what it is against what the deal was. So within this project sponsor client, you have the rates, fees, the type of thing, and also the type of payout that it's going to be. This is per the amount of views trailing forever, this is per the amount of views within a window, or this is link clicks that sign up, you get paid money. The creator project list videos without ads. So this one sort of ties into, if you have a bunch of videos going out and you don't have an ad slot taken and you're planning on making the ad slot available, you would be able to see all of the videos without ads, and essentially we could eventually show that to sponsors who don't even know specifically who they want to sponsor, what videos they want to put it in, but they can see a list of projects which have available ad slots. And something that me and Ken talked about here was, over time, as it gets closer and closer to the date, these things the creator could choose to make them cheaper. So they could get cheaper closer to the date. Just so you're filling a slot, you don't have anything going out with zero now. A lot of creators have something else that they would just promote. They promote themselves in that slot if it gets below a certain amount. So they might not discount below a certain amount because it's worth them pushing their own stuff. But if they want to make it really cheap, they can make it really cheap. And sponsors might just sit on that buying cheaper slots just before they go out.
Yep.
And then can you talk about the CRM, because you...
So with the creator CRM, this is just so that I think this is a missing piece. A lot of this kind of stuff's done over email, which, a lot of people say email's fine, but in the end of the day, we know it's not. It's a list of clients and potential sponsors, I think. So when you create an email that, for instance, ads@kengrief.com, and you just forward it to an inbound or an email in Clipflow. And what we'll do is we'll grab that email and put it into your CRM. So basically, you can then start keeping track of everyone who's ever expressed interest in your channel, because I guarantee you these things are getting left and lost, because especially if you're doing a lot of volume and getting a lot of ad or sponsor requests. And then doing automated email follow-up. So I think this is really key. It's just it's leveling up professionalism, right? So instead of having to manually send one, which is good, like you should 100% do that, but you could send an automated email follow-up straight away with a generic video proposal. And it just kind of, firstly, it'll weed out the ones that are wasting your time, I think. So you can send out and say, hey, guys, thanks for your interest in sponsoring my channel. I just want to run you through, this is kind of my core audience. These are my things. These are my expectations of when we work, and this is how I do work. And then just kind of do a basic run through. You don't have to include pricing or anything at this stage. Just kind of just like starting a little bit of a funnel here. And then when you get time to jump back in and you're like, oh, I need to follow this one up, you can go and then do I reckon like doing a proper video to like, hey, brand, thank you so much. I got your thing. Really keen to work with you guys. I love your product. This is, a little bit more. I'd love to jump on a call with you guys. Please check my calendar link, whatever. And then you can just say, you can move it down your funnel and your flow. So then you can actually start converting customers. I think this is a really key and would be a really cool feature inside of Clipflow, is like actually getting work and like making sure you're handling that. So from there, you'll have now a pipeline of deals, and you can basically start working out like customers are worth money, and then also what money they're bringing in. Like I've done 10 videos for this and people are paying me this much. Because I think it's really important. Like it's good to be getting money from sponsors and just like, I'm rich, but like it's really good to know who's giving you the most money, because you want to actually be able to say like, this customer is really important and I should really focus on them, because you want to focus on those people that are giving you the most cash. Because in the end of the day, you can grow that relationship. You could double the fee there and end up making more money and doing, less volume and more quality. But it's all about like servicing that top 20%. That exists in every business. And I think creating content is no different. So that whole deal pipeline, and I think that whole CRM piece, and it's a stripped down CRM, because we don't want to see, a HubSpot inside of Clipflow. It's like it's too much. Like you don't have all these different funnels and all these things. You just literally got your, get an email and start nurturing that lead, because it's very important to do that. Like personally, I get sponsor emails and stuff, and they kind of just get forgotten in the bottom of the pile. So unless they follow you up again, you could lose that lead. And being responsive is very key. If you can respond within the first 5 minutes with an automated email that feels nice, and I think you're going to change the game. Like if you're using a tool like this, you're going to stand out above, the other creator who's sending you a manual email. You might snag that sponsor before the other one. So I think that's a really cool piece. And then obviously when you're creating your project, making sure you're following their guidelines, and you just deliver a much better experience. When the project's done, you flick it to them, they get to review it, not in a Google Drive document or something random. It's just all looks great. The content's there. They can comment on it. They can like it. They can, make suggestions or whatever. And I think that would be a really cool flow, to be honest. I think that's a really something I want to work on.
Yep. I like that. I think like there's always going to be people who use existing CRM tools and stuff, but this is just simple, built in, and realistically the deals can go into multiple places with those email addresses. So it's not like you're locked into one thing, but this can be the pretty much everything you need to do it if you just want to do it in one place.
I think it's really cool. Like you can do all this stuff in Notion, let's be honest, but like it's not built. Like I think things like this automated email follow-up with an inbound email, like that's you can't do. You have to hook a whole bunch of things together. And it's like that would be a very big step up from other creators. Like if you're doing stuff like that. And I think just tracking ads and then the whole QC process, I think that stuff's like it's golden. So you can do all this stuff.
Of having the video sales letter in a media kit page, which is like, here's my latest 3 videos. Here's the average performance I get in a month on a video. Here's my rates. And here's my video sales letter. And like you said, if you want to record one just for that person, you can. But otherwise, it's ready to go and it just ships the link straight out to them and filters out all the people who are like, whoa, that's expensive. Or, because
you could say expectation, but I mean, it's ideal not to discuss price on an automated email, I think, because there could be a brand that you really like and you really want to work for regardless. You're just like, I want to work for that brand. So you don't want to weed people out day one. Like, I think it's important that a human jumps on and then actually you talk through it. But I think like a very generic, just kind of like they get to see you like in a different way.
About the channel. And then you could probably do something where like they got sent the automated thing. And then 5 days later, you say, if you haven't reached out, you say, do you want to send an automated rate card to this person? Just to retouch it. But you don't send that part automatically.
Or you could just do a second follow-up email and create like a little funnel. Because I think that's really important. Like it's part of being a business. It's about making sure you convert anyone who wants to give you money, you can convert them if you want to. Like obviously you don't have to work for every client, but if they want to chuck some cash at you and you want to work with them, you should be converting that money as fast as possible. And this is where I think a lot of creators fall down because they don't run businesses. They haven't run businesses. They're still trying and they're figuring it out, which is perfectly fine. They're really good at creating content, but like actually running a business in the background. Because if you can convert as many sponsors as you can afford to pay for people. If you're getting your invoices paid on time and they're getting generated and they're being paid, you can pay for all your employees or your contractors or whatever you need. And you run a business that's profitable and along and sustain so that you can focus on creating. Because that's the end of the day is you need to focus on creating and not trying to do all this back of house stuff. And if it's all like handled in one place, that's a big win. Because you can get these. You can get these
like
tools.
That for the like back when I was a freelance designer, I hated the idea of sending an invoice, and I hated the idea of like talking about how much money I wanted for things. So the ability to automate that for me would be like great. It's like the system sent this. It's not me. This is what the system says my rates are. It's not me saying that. If you just takes the like that sort of stress out of it, where you're like, oh, I don't know if I should send them that. What if they say no? Like just automates it.
Yeah. You could, I mean, look, if you wanted to put your pricing in your automated email, sure, you can weed people out even harder. I think it's not a bad, if you like, I just don't even want to talk to anyone who doesn't want to pay me 10K. It's like, sure, you do that. That's entirely up to you. So I think like you're just being able to, and I think it'll be just an email with a link to a URL. It's like, hey, check out, because obviously we can't embed videos and stuff in emails. But we can say, hey,
thanks for contacting me. Here's all my details.
Yep. Please check this link for a full quick run through of my channel and what we're about. And then it's just like, hey guys, cool, sick video. Like that already is just like game changer, like sick. Like you're talking to me. And then it's just like, here's some stuff and here's what I've done. Here are my past videos I've done. And like, awesome. Like what else? And like, it'll clean up. Like imagine if you're like wanting to sponsor a video where I already have a sponsor like that and you're like, oh, he's already worked with this company, probably not for me. And then they just pull they can just say, cool, it bought. So that part I think is super cool, super powerful. This part's the CRM part's cool. The creative project piece is really cool. And then the sponsor view is cool too. If you start working with multiple creators or you work with the same creator multiple times, you can just see all the different projects you've done with them. And it's like, eventually we could say, hey, do you want to do another video? Now we're upselling you because we're like, hey, you haven't done a video with X for this much time, you should do another one. It's probably time to retouch that audience.
On the organization client join, do you have like a type there? Like it's a channel partner, or it's just a ad hoc video sponsor? Like I know sometimes they have like long-term partners, and those are the ones that you'd probably want to show on that page, which are like, these are the long-term partners. Do you still want to work with them, sort of thing?
Yeah, I think, I don't know. Like,
tricky to.
It's a label. You can label it, but it could change too, right? You could be an ad hoc and then you turn into long term. So as long as you can, it's just a toggle. It's just a type, and then it's a filter, which is fine. You could do that really easily. It's not a big deal.